and welcome to Aniview Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Kurozuka, which was made by Madhouse and has 12 episodes and made in 2008. Can we get a summary?
Okay, so basically, Kurozuka, it's a psychological romance, I'm going to call it, and it revolves around two characters. You have Kuro, who is like the samurai back in the 12th century, and Kuromitsu, who is kind of this love interest that he kind of meets up with in the first episode. And the thing is, Kuromitsu, she's immortal. She has something in her blood makes her immortal, so she can die, but she'll live forever. Or no, maybe she can't die. I don't think she can die, eh? No, she can't die.
Not by normal means, anyways.
No. So basically, yeah, so she can't die, and Kuro falls in love with her. Like, even though they've just met, it's kind of like this instant attraction, and we want to be together forever. So basically, Kuromitsu, kind of through an event, passes on some of her blood, her ability to live forever, to Kuro. And they decide, okay, yeah, we're going to live the rest of our lives together. Until this event that happens at the end of the second episode, where basically ends up Kuro gets decapitated and oh my god, he's dead. What's going on? But because he's immortal, it does like a whole shift, and it's like a time shift, really. He wakes up, he's perfectly fine. However, he's now in the future, like 21st, 22nd century, or like this kind of broken down version of Japan. And he wakes up, he has no idea what's going on. All he knows is his name, and has his love for Kuromitsu, and basically sets off on a journey to try to find her.
So that's, the anime in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about a few things. Let's just start with the opening, something easy. So what did you think of the opening song and such?
Well, at first I was a little bit weirded out with the opening, because when we saw this, it was supposed to be it seemed like a romance story,
mm-hmm.
and it's just it's hardcore J-rock, J-metal kind of music, and we were just kind of, huh?
Yeah.
Like,
because it's by Madhouse, right? And they had recently done Death Note, so we had high expectations for this anime. And this song, I guess it wasn't too surprising because it is very similar to Death Note's second song.
It grew on me, though, now. I like it.
Oh, yeah. I still don't love, but I do like this song and even Death Note's second song.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I prefer not to have those types of openings. But innovation is always good. Having, putting a unique stamp
mm-hmm.
is always nice. So, before the opening, though, there comes these kabuki people,
mm-hmm.
right? So, do we want to talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so basically, in some anime, it's kind of, they give like a recap at the beginning. These kabuki people, they come in, they do their kind of thing, and it's kind of like a broken down structure, kind of recapping what happened in the previous episode, and it's just very, very weird. And I never really quite understood why they were there.
I think they really gave a good tone to the anime, though. Like they showed it always had the samurai roots to it,
mm-hmm.
And these kabuki people. So it was interesting, and I don't know if I liked it, but I like having
I didn't like it.
New things, like something that I haven't seen before done.
Okay.
So let's move on to the plot and such.
About the plot, yeah. What did you think about this one?
So the plot started off potentially great. Like,
yeah,
it was very interesting. You got to the future. How is he going to find Kuromitsu, and who's he going to meet? So he does meet some people, right?
We had high hopes for this one too.
Yeah. So he meets this sort of rebellion group, and this rebellion group is fighting this group of people called the Red Imperial Army. And you notice that their logo is back in the 12th century. When you had earlier seen, there's sort of these people, the people that that fought Kurozuka and Kuromitsu, or just Kuro and Kuromitsu, mm-hmm. Had the symbol as well, right? So, this is like their sort of futuristic self. And so they come in and they have these villain stuff. So it's basically rebellious people versus the Red Imperial Army.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was an interesting dynamic, and I was hoping, to learn more about them, which you do,
mm-hmm.
and stuff. And I thought it would be really interesting. Not so sure about that.
Yeah,
how interesting it was. So you meet the first villain, right?
He's like a general of this Red Imperial Army.
Yeah, he's really crazed looking, and basically you learn that he also gained this like immortality power. Most people don't have this immortality power. That's not normal to have, and most people don't even know it exists. And yet you meet one or two characters along that sort of do know exists, and especially the rebellion group itself, and Red Imperial Army both sort of know it exists. And so they have some people that have it, and this character does. And he also gains superpowers for some reason. He can manipulate wires, it seems, and he can make them sort of fly and twist and turn and grab people, which he does all the time. And he also has like a physically powerful body in some sense. So he goes on and fights these villains.
Yeah, and so the fight scenes kind of go on, and the fight scenes kind of have this structure to them where basically they start off, Kuro gets basically destroyed or beaten up really bad, and then basically he enters kind of like this anger mode or immortality mode, where
which
basically
is typical of a lot of shonen anime. Actually,
well, yeah, he gets this higher power ability, where basically he just gets so infilled with rage about what's going on, and basically the colors, like you said, the colors go all weird, like reds and just odd colors happening, and basically he just goes and slays whoever's in front of him, just like 1-2, and that's it. Like, so the fights kind of get redundant, even though I like how nice they are, actually drawn and put out there for you to watch. It's just kind of,
and the fights
lose a little bit,
and this isn't an action anime. The fight scenes only come once in a while, and there's like sort of the beginning part of a fight, which is kind of just bland, blah, blah, and then like super action, then it's done. That's basically how most of the fight scenes go. And while he fights some interesting villains as it goes on and stuff, those are probably our least favorite episodes when he fights later episodes, because they just feel like thrown in.
Just kind of there to be there.
Yeah, they feel thrown in. And there's a lot of things I found just ridiculously fake and just felt like, I don't know, maybe they had fetishes with these sorts of things. My most prime example is the motorcycle. So he talks about how he could ride a horse in 12th century, and he has shown a motorcycle. He's never seen one been driven before or anything like that, and he's like, oh, I could probably ride that like I ride a horse. He gets on the motorcycle and can ride it like better than anyone I've ever seen ride a motorcycle in my life.
So like flips in the air. And
okay, he has adrenaline powers and such. That's fine, and can like super hyper speed. But that's not what he's using. He just somehow learned all the technicalities of
a motorcycle
in
the future.
So, and I think these people might have like the Madhouse people might have like these type of vehicles, because as we can see, Ride Back coming out has the same sort of theme. These motorcycle riding. So I think they just want to throw it in there for their own interest.
Teaser,
So yeah, I don't like when they do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
not fun.
It just seems very well, I did like that action sequence, but I did not like the fact that he jumps on a motorcycle and all of a sudden he's a master. So yeah.
So then you meet the crazy scientists that are doing this. So you want to explain a bit about them?
So this is the whole plot of this is basically these people know Kuromiso has these immortality kind of abilities from her blood, they assume. So they want to get her. They're trying to find her, as well as Kuro is searching for her, to get her blood to create this insanely powerful army. And basically, I believe their overall goal is to rule the world. I mean, what bad guy doesn't want to rule the world? So, and basically, like we said, Kuro is with this rebellion army, and he's kind of trying to find her before they do, I believe. So, yeah.
So they made this one creature like Kuon. Remember? And yeah, he's sort of there, and there's an epic fight scene with him later, and there's this character that's with them the entire time who also seems to have immortality powers. You find out he's important in the end too. So you have all these sort of characters that were there and do interesting things, but all together this anime did not mesh very well, unfortunately. So what are you going to give this anime overall?
I'm gonna say avoid. I mean, we had a very good beginning. The ending, even though it seemed like slapdash, it actually brought it together somewhat in one episode, which would have been nice. It should have been like a 5-episode series, would have been really cool. But just for the middle section, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. Just have to sit through that, because we struggled to get through this one too, which sucks. I hate when I have to do that with an anime, because I was so looking forward to this one. Yeah, avoid it at all costs.
So myself, I want to make a distinction between like a bad anime and disappointing. This isn't a bad anime like you watch and you're like, that was bad. This was more, I had high expectations, so it was more just like a big disappointment. I'm like, this is Madhouse. This is one of my favorite studios. They make amazing stuff, and they throw this, which I felt it was slapdash. It was not proper. So I'm gonna say avoid, But I'm not sure if people who aren't who didn't have these type of expectations would be as disappointed. So
Yeah, I
that's
guess.
my only sort of caveat there. But I think that's about it for our thoughts on Kurozuka.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you want to send us any feedback, comments, or questions, or recommendations, you can send it to aniview@hotmail.com, or give us a comment, send us a message, whatever.
All right.
We'll see you next time.